Thank you very much. And it's my great honor to have this chance to meet you. And we are going to talk about what we have done in container. Just now, Huawei, AWS, and Huawei and Ali Group have talked about the benefits, advantage, and of Kubernetes and the cloud native. I want to talk about our learnings, and there are three parts of it. First of all, it's about our platform, and it is about the Scalable Cloud, and some of our practice and stories, and the other thing, some of my learnings and my prospects. Well, Scalable Cloud, as one of the business on our containers, offers a lot of work like online, offline, DevOps. And the architecture is not a very sophisticated past platform, online, offline mixture, and the service portrait, and all these are core service. To the foundation of it, we have Kubernetes and Docker with our technological service, and of course we need ambient system support. I will not go into details of cloud. Apart from our private cloud, we also customize the private cloud for the customers, which is being implemented now. I want to share with you some data of a Scalable Cloud. We have 3K physical machines, 50,000 containers, 40% peak CPU utilization, and at DiDi, and it is up to 50% covered by online, which start from 0, but now we reach the level of 1. And I want to share with you my story from 0 to 1. 3 years ago, DiDi faced several difficulties: low resource utilization, complex test deployment, long capacity, expansion time, and the physical machine, difficult scalability, and the very low response time. And we need to make some changes, but how and what to change? 3 years ago, in 2016, Kubernetes was still very young, and our test version is still 1.3. But we really focus on the active community of Kubernetes. API, declarative API, pluggable, highly scalable, only indicating its promises. And 1.3 and a single machine 1,000, and to a company like DiDi, such a large company, which is not enough. Therefore, internally we had different voices. Mesos is one of the good choices at the time, and the questions about invest now or invest in the future. At the time, I talked to our chief architecture officer, said that maybe we can give more time to Kubernetes. Maybe half a year later, everything changed, and probably my words play its role, and we didn't miss Kubernetes, and therefore our 1.6 version released, and we really didn't miss Kubernetes, and we take this very good chance, and we have a very centralized container and the wrong direction, wrong efforts. And with the right direction, this is only the first step, the first challenge, that is the system integration. And DiDi, all the service will be transferred to the cloud. Therefore, in our designing, we need to compatible with the existing architectures, user habits, and try to have more stability. Container, physical machine, working in parallel, and for a long time they will exist in parallel. And to be specific, what we do in one word, the right one is the best. And we didn't use the native container. We use the system container. And we have independent IP, and we are one of the heavy user of that set. And we didn't, and this use of service, Kubernetes, DNS, Kube proxy, and every container is centralized under DNS and Nginx, and therefore, and we minimize the differences between physical machine, and Kubernetes. And we try to optimize, no matter it is a doc file or you have centralize it, and we have a safe set, and to support different versions of releases. And we support the customer customized transcript, which is very important. We must ensure that when all the service is ready, we will connect them. And with this in 2017, and we have some core business, and therefore, which is not enough. And we welcome the second challenge, that is internationalization. And in 2018, we want to go global. We want to have the new system, and therefore, to the bottom of it, and the Scalable Cloud will provide 100% online traffic for international business. If you are responsible for stability, you need to have a fast shift of the traffic. You know, we only have one room or one server room. In the past, we only plan B, but now we only have plan A, the only plan. Therefore, we have done a lot of modification. And to the bottom of it, we should have international business. But according to the requirements of PR, we delete it. And generally speaking, and with scalability and Scalable Cloud always works, never let us down. Therefore, within DiDi, and we have very good reputation, so stability is better than everything. And then to be specific, what we have done, there are 4 points. And you may see that from SDN shift to the underlay NAS/VLAN, and the storage from cell to the local storage. And these 2 solutions sacrifice the flexibility, but we remove the uncertainties which worth it. In order to cope with the solutions, Kubernetes, we customize the logics, and we have a local startup of the containers in running the containers, and we restrict the threads of the containers. I want to give you very specific performance optimization. Safe side 3500 STS. Default wait time of 140 seconds per service example, because the native cloud has a default synchronization. Therefore, the work cannot be processed. And informal mechanism, and which this can ensure that SKS and will not be missed out. After our optimization, we already lower 99% of the waiting time. And the other thing is the isolation in-house, such as CPU isolation, network isolation, disk I/O isolation. I believe all of us are working on it. I want to emphasize our CPU solution. When competing for the same physical core, and most of the containers need to wait standby, and you can see that the waiting indicators, and we have a CPI indicator, and the first one, level 1 service before isolation, and 0.88, and starts and after isolation, and 0.45. And at present, we sacrifice tier 2 and tier 3, and later we will optimize the algorithm and to lower the overall sacrifices. And with this, and you know that this is not enough. And with the scalability and the new requirements are raised, and when it is lower than 40% and no new more machines. And you know that is really a test on our dispatching or orchestration algorithm. And okay, and what is the limit request ratio? Request is very special, interesting value, and it's a minimum availability, which means that on the host, what is the biggest number on the containers, and it is one of the indicators for competition. If it's a tier 1, tier 3 level service, are they the same? No. And also the value is static. Some users have a large container, but they do not use it. It only occupies the resources. In order to address it, we think of all of the solutions. On the clusters, we have a centralization. We have a higher limit request ratio. Try to classify by the service. We try to classify between the different hosts. But the result doesn't work very well because request doesn't tell us the reality. Real-time adjustment is fine, but you need to have updates from the customers, less flexible, more involvement from the customers, and therefore, we use a low-cost and good result solution, and we have the first 7 days value improved density from 25 to 40% CPU utilization. Standard deviation of the CPU utilization reduced from 14 to 10%, and guarantee on the Tier 1 service or the Grade 1 service. On the left hand, before starting utilization, before and after, there is a great comparison. And the other thing is that utilization improved, and this is what we have done. And we can offer a very large container, and we can have more hybrid deployment, resources isolation, ensure stability, and when necessary, and we can kill the container. This is the CPU idle, and we have a peak and a trough on the left hand. This is the peak time. And you can see top 10 and 75%, and we have a 300 hosts with the idle time peak utilization maximized, improved by 5%. And now I will talk about future outlook, and it is very helpful. And so whether we want to continue on it. And in the future, we want to optimize the hybrid deployment. Native container is one of the targets. We need to do a lot of things. The last one, some of my insights. And how to implement these technologies. We need to solve the problem instead of giving problems. Therefore, we need to deploy the most suitable service and the technologies, try to minimize the cost. And this is a systematic process. And do not think about one word that's from the CTO or the bosses will do everything. And we need to scale up the business with the users. No matter you engage users or engage team members, it's easier. And how to persistently create value for users, that is data-driven. We need to identify the problems. We need to quantify the benefits so that users can report to their bosses, so that we can ensure win-win. Technology is one hand, and service on another hand. The trust of the users is kind of banks. And if you use up the trust, they will leave. If you solve problems for the users tomorrow, and they will be your ambassador and have more service from your side. And now I want to talk about our suggestions. And it is a very recommendations on the future development of our communities. Communities are really developing fast. One is go up, the other one is go down. If we go up, we hope the communities can cater to the business. Orchestration and scalability, such as the VR scheduler, CRD, are always in our attention. If we go down, we need to optimize the thread performance. etcd 3.4 online is something we are looking forward to. The other thing is isolation of the containers. And we really forward projects like Kata could become a large-scale case. And finally, little advertisement. Scalable Cloud, we keep recruiting. From 1 to 100, we are in this process. We have many challenges and some technological points to probe into. If you show interest, you can scan our WeChat. And I hope that the masters can talk to me offline. And our kernel team asked me to say this. We are also recruit. And we have a lot of things to make breakthrough. And you're welcome to scan my WeChat. That's the end of my sharing. Thank you.